Hello, Internet! I'm Ellie the Purple Hair Doofus, and welcome back to American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Today we're covering chapters 4 and 5. I hope you've read up to that point because I do not want to ruin anything for you. Our section today begins with Shadow and Wednesday going to a diner for breakfast, and they are discussing the dream that Shadow had last night. And Shadow isn't completely convinced that it's a dream, but he lets Wednesday talk to him as if it was, because talking as if your dead wife was visiting you in your hotel room and kissing you and telling you everything that you wanted to hear sounds bonkers. So believing that it's a dream is a lot more convenient for him. Wednesday asks Shadow if he's ready to leave Eagle Point, the town that had the funeral for his wife, and Shadow says, yes, there's nothing left for me here, I'm ready to go. And Wednesday says, that's perfect, we will begin our journey. And Shadow asks what they're going to do, and he says, we're going to meet with some friends, we're going to collect some money, and then we'll be off. Shadow says, that's great. So Wednesday takes him to this apartment building where a woman is just getting out, and Wednesday immediately recognizes her, and he greets her very kindly. They kind of have this relationship where it's kind of like, I know exactly what you're up to. The woman says, I'm going for groceries. Do you have any money for groceries? And Wednesday says, oh no, of course not. I don't carry cash with me. And Shadow gives her $40 for groceries. And that's when I start to think that maybe these people are related, because this woman is just hustling Shadow for money. And this woman is named Zoria, but that's her first name, and I cannot pronounce her last name. And she's a part of a group of women that I'm calling the Zoria sisters, because they all have the same first name but different unpronounceable last names. And if it becomes important to try and pronounce those last names in the future, I will definitely do my best, but right now, no. But anyways, she says that their sisters are upstairs, so Wednesday and Shadow go up. The first person that they meet when they are upstairs is an older man. I'm going to mess this up. Zernobog. They meet Zernobog in the apartment, along with Zoria's other sisters, the other Zorias. Wednesday asks Zernobog to go on the trip with them, and Zernobog just flatly turns him down. But he is very interested in Shadow. Zernobog says, how would you like to play checkers? Shadow agrees. After Zernobog takes his first piece, he's like, how would you like to make this interesting? Shadow says, what do you mean? He's like, how about a little wager? And he's like, I don't have any money. I gave it all to your sister. And he says, well, I used to be a butcher, and I would smack the head of cows and kill them with one swipe of my sledgehammer. How about if you lose, I get to swap your head with the sledgehammer? And Shadow is feeling incredibly confident, so he says, sure, but what if I win? Zernobog's like, I don't know, what do you want? He asks him what Wednesday was asking him about. Shadow says, okay, if I win, you have to come with us. Zernobog says, okay, that's a deal. And Zernobog just annihilates him on the board. Shadow's like, oh crap, I don't want to get hit in the head with a sledgehammer. How about a rematch? Double or nothing. Zernobog says, I'm going to kill you the first time that I hit you in the head. And he says, yeah, but you only played for one hit. What if we played for 2 hits? Zernobog's like, I kind of like your moxie, kid. Let's do it. And they play a game of checkers. Shadow realizes that he's playing the exact same game, so Shadow easily defeats him this time. Zernobog has to go with Wednesday and Shadow on their adventure. By the time they're done playing checkers, the sisters have already made dinner. They're all sitting around eating dinner, and Shadow realizes that it's kind of the grossest thing that he's ever eaten. But he's very nice, and he's very happy that he's there, and he goes to sleep at the end of the night. He dreams of a war, a battle, and when he wakes up, there is a woman standing at the window in the bedroom, and he at first thinks that it's his dead wife, but it's actually the nocturnal sister that I was telling you about. She guides him out onto the fire escape and up to the roof so that they could look at the stars. And she offers him protection. He says, what do I have to give you? Because that guy's already gonna bash my head in with a sledgehammer. He says, you know, if he wanted to do that, he would have done it already. Probably just waiting for the right time to do it. But all you have to do for me is pull the moon from the sky. And Shadow's like, I don't get it, what do you mean? And she puts her hand up, plucks from the sky, and a beautiful coin is in her hands. And she hands it over to Shadow. Now this is something that I missed in the first section. I didn't discuss this, but it's gearing up to be important. Shadow, when he was in prison, practiced coin tricks. It seems like every person that he meets along this journey so far with Wednesday gives him a coin. In fact, when he buried his wife, he tossed a coin into the grave with her. And I'm starting to wonder maybe if that coin might have been the thing to bring her back to life, but I don't know. So now, Shadow has a coin. He goes back to sleep, and when he wakes up, he looks out the window and realizes that there is no fire escape. There is no way to climb up onto the roof. Yet, he still has the coin from last night. How? I don't know. So he wakes up with Wednesday, and Wednesday says, okay, let's go. And he says, where are we going? And Wednesday says, we are going to rob a bank. Wow, this video is getting longer than I thought it would be. Sorry about that. After Wednesday says, we are going to rob a bank, there follows a section from the 19th century about a woman named Essie. And she is a pickpocket, I guess? A hustler? She goes around and she not only plucks wallets from men, she also plucks their hearts. As she marries a sailor who gets called off the battle, and she grabs all his valuables as soon as he leaves and ditches the mother. Then she goes to court, and they pretty much ostracize her from the country, and then she has another relationship with a guy who truly madly falls in love with her, and he dies. And she has 2 beautiful kids with him. She has her own farm. That's pretty much her story. Then we go on to chapter 5, where we are robbing a bank. And I'm wondering, is this going to have negative effects for Shadow, because he was just in prison. In fact, one of his deals was if he took this job, didn't want to go back to prison. And Wednesday keeps on reassuring him, it's fine, don't worry, nothing will happen. Shadow's like, okay. They go out and they are running errands before they are going to rob this bank. First, they visit the bank. They kind of scout the place out. Then, they go to a Kinko's and they print out business cards, a large sign. Then they go to like a thrift store, and they pick up some earmuffs and some warm clothes. While they're out doing these things, Wednesday says, you know, it looks mighty cold. Why don't you think about snow for a bit? And Shadow's just kind of like, okay. And he starts thinking about snow. It's like, I don't know how this is going to help, but I'll do it. And he just really starts concentrating on snow. He's like, snow, beautiful white flaky snow. Snow falling on the mountaintop, snowman, snowballs, snow. At one point, Wednesday is like, whoa there, whoa, that's enough. Don't you think you've been using that enough there? And he's like, oh, okay. Because he's looking around and he doesn't see any snow, but Wednesday actually notices that there's snow building on the mountains. They go back to the bank, and Wednesday gets into his clothes and puts a security card badge on one of his jackets, puts on a pink pair of earmuffs. He takes a suitcase, handcuffs himself to it, and he walks out to the bank where the deposits are being made. He puts a sign over the deposit slip, or over the deposit bucket, that says, you know, ATM broken, please leave money with man. And he stands there with a bag, and all these people come from their work to drop off deposits. So basically, he just hustled the bank out of all of that money. He goes back to the car, and he immediately just kind of grabs on to the cash. And he hands the cash to Shadow, and he says, that's your payment. And he takes all the credit slips, all the electronic paper stuff, and he says, let's go to a bank. And they go to another bank, and he drops off the credit slips to be deposited into his account. So he gets paid that way. And then he takes Shadow to a roadside attraction called the House on the Rock. They go there, and Wednesday says this place is full of power. This has a lot of power because it's built by the American dream. It's built to make people become filled with wonder and filled with happiness. Shadow says, well then isn't Disneyland like a very powerful place? He says, no, Disneyland was all about the money. Disneyland was just built on an orange farm. There's nothing actually magical about Disneyland. He's like, oh, at the roadside attraction, there is a machine for fortunes. Mr. Wednesday picks up his, and he pockets it. He doesn't tell Shadow what it is. Shadow picks up his, and it's very confusing. It's like, today's weather, dead. Favorite color, no. And it's just very ominous and creepy. I have a feeling that fortune will come in handy later. And they meet up with Zernobog, and Zernobog is with a older black gentleman. So it's basically Shadow and 3 older men. And Shadow is building a rapport with these 3 older men. Even though Mr. Nancy is complaining about, I believe it's his grandson or his son, he actually compares Shadow to his grandson or son that he's complaining about, Shadow says, I'm honored that you would compare me to him. And Mr. Dancy's like, I like you. And they come across this giant carousel. The carousel is filled with different animals, both real and unreal. So next to the deer, there's mermaids, and next to the mermaids, there's probably a panda or something. I'm sure that these 3 older gentlemen got on the animals that are corresponding to who they're supposed to be, but I have no idea who they're supposed to be yet because it hasn't been revealed to me yet. They get on the carousel and Shadow starts it up and the lights start blinking on and off, and that's when Shadow starts seeing them not as old men, but as gods. That's pretty much where this section ends for today. The question that I have for you today is, what place or destination for you is magical, much like the house on the rock? The question that I had yesterday is what you do when you're suffering from a tragedy. What do you dive into? For me, when I got news that my friend had done what he did, I dove into video games. Unfortunately, the game that I dove into was probably the exactly wrong game to dive into. Because at the time, I wanted control. I wanted to be in complete control, and I wanted answers. And I was playing The Witness, and everything that I was finding in that video game was leading me to the idea that I wasn't going to get answers at the end of that game. The other thing that I dive into is math, because that, again, is another thing that I can control. Speaking of math, do not forget that the next book that I will be reading is The Indisputable Evidence of Santa Claus by Dr. Hannah Fry. I don't have it here, or I would hold it up. Go out and grab it by any legal means necessary. Buy it at a bookstore, buy it on a Kindle, borrow from a friend, borrow it from a library. I don't care what you do as long as it's legal and you read it before I ruin it for you. I've been Elliot the Purple Artifice, reminding you to watch your Pajama Radius, and I will see you all in the next chapters of American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Toodles!